From the Oklahoman newsroom, it's time for an OSU update. I'm Jenny Carlson here in studio. This week, almost quietly, or well, quietly compared to how it used to be, it's signing day. Scott Wright joins us on the phone to talk about what that means for the Cowboys. Scott, this used to be a big deal for football teams across the country, but with that early signing day, most teams are getting their classes out of the way, or a vast majority of them. That was definitely the case for Oklahoma State after early signing day, only having 2 spots available. Where do those 2 spots stand, and what can we expect, if anything, from the Cowboys on signing day?
Well, the Cowboys will definitely sign DeAndre Glass, the running back out of Katy, Texas, who committed back on January 14th. Picked Oklahoma State over offers from Alabama, Georgia, Texas. He was a 4-star running back and one of the top guys in their class now. Really a good boost late to this class that didn't have a real standout guy early on, but he, along with Langston Anderson, the receiver that they picked up late on early signing day, were both 4-star guys that gave them a little bit of a boost. Now the last spot looked like it was they really felt they had a good shot with a junior college defensive end by the name of Sony Fonua, and he decided to commit to LSU on Sunday, and that leaves them scrambling a little bit with that last spot now.
Well, and I assume that that's a spot that they're going to want to ultimately fill, Scott, because with the transfers that they've had and the departures, they're going to be a little bit shy on full scholarship guys. So what's the plan, or what's the expectation of what Oklahoma State's going to do with that last scholarship spot?
It's going to be interesting to watch. Obviously, at this point, trying to recruit a guy in time to sign him on Wednesday would be difficult. But they do have a lot of options left still at this point. You know, one of the difficulties is they felt so good about how things were going with Fonua, and he was a guy at 6'4", 260 pounds, who they thought could really come in and be an immediate guy on that defensive line depth chart, defensive end. You know, they really focused all their efforts on him, and so their backup plan is probably going to push them past signing day. I would expect them to only sign Glass most likely on Wednesday, and then go searching for the next guy to fill that spot, and that could be a junior college guy if they're scouring what's left at this point. Of course, there's not a lot left in the junior college ranks. You're hoping to find somebody who maybe slipped through the cracks, and then they're going to be on that transfer portal, trying to find who might be eligible to come in and help them right away as a graduate transfer, or maybe down the line if it's someone who has to stay out a year. So there are some talented defensive ends on the transfer portal. Now they've got to figure out what direction they want to go to try to fill that. There's some other different options that they could go. They do have an offer out to a linebacker, an in-state kid, high school kid from Broken Arrow named Gavin Potter. That could be a move that they make and go ahead and fill that last spot now, and try to hold off on what they do to add to the defensive line depth until later in the summer, and get someone who they could use that would count toward next year's account as far as signing day goes. So like you said, Jenny, they're, with everybody that they lost, they're a little bit thin. They're not going to get up to 85 scholarships at this point to fill out the full NCAA limit. So it's a really interesting situation the Cowboys are facing.
Lastly, Scott, as we think about that final spot, obviously since that early signing period, and frankly, since they got that commitment from Glass, the running back, they've since hired their new offensive coordinator, Sean Gleason. A lot of talk about that final spot going to the defensive side. Is there any chance that they might try to give Gleason a chance to get an offensive guy? I know, obviously, like you say, pretty much everybody is spoken for at this point that's of that top level caliber. Is there any chance that they maybe swing an offensive guy, or are they going to stick that they want that last spot to be a defensive player?
I think that right now they feel like they need to build the depth on defense. They recently lost linebacker Patrick Macon, who transferred out as a graduate transfer. Of course, they had Jordan Brelford went to the NFL early, things like that. And they were able to fill the spots that they needed on offense going into that early signing period, and then with Glass's addition to fill the spot vacated by Justice Hill going to the NFL early. So they really feel pretty set with what they've got. Obviously, Gleason coming in so close to signing day didn't get a chance to really recruit. They threw him into one of his first working weekends on campus. They had a junior day over the weekend, and he got to start looking ahead to what might be coming down the line for him and in his recruiting responsibilities. So I would not expect any offensive players to be added at this point. If things don't go the way that they expect on the transfer market or junior college transfer market, possibly just to go ahead and fill that spot and get another body in. There's an offensive guy out there that they really like. They might do that, but I would say that it's probably unlikely.
All right. Again, Wednesday is signing day, the late signing day now, as Oklahoma State and most places already have the majority of their class signed. It's not going to be a huge day, but we'll be following to see if Oklahoma State does pull that 25th player on their signing class or not. So be sure to stay with the best coverage team anywhere at newsok.com and every day in the Oklahoman.